Hello, everybody. Happy Wind Down Wednesday. Um, how is everyone? I feel like this week I'm finally getting back into a rhythm. um, y'all may not have known, but most of May I was in, most of May I was in DC, generally on the East Coast, and that just kind of like crossed my brain, and then I came back, and then I was backish. But now I feel good. So that's me. That's my Wednesday. We're listening to Freedom by Beyonce while we warm up the audience and we wait for Rebecca. Yes. While we wait for Rebecca and Erica to join. Rebecca, I can see you, so I'll send you a join request. It says I invited you. Oh, I mean, I'm assuming Willie, thank you for creating an account, Rebecca. You should see, I think that's somebody else. That's not your account. You should see like the little plus sign on your phone, Rebecca, so I can invite you into the live. Let me know if you don't, because when I try to invite you, it's grayed out for some reason. So see if you can send me, okay, you don't see anything. Okay. And I'm wondering if it's because it's a new account, but we will figure. Oh, you have to be on your phone to participate in an Instagram live. But you have to be using the Instagram app. So I imagine you're on either your tablet or your laptop, and that's not gonna work. You have to be on your phone. Yeah, okay, so maybe I'm hoping that Wait Comic Books is you, and not somebody else.
There we go. Hey. Oh my goodness. Why can't I do this on my computer?
You gotta ask Mark Zuckerberg that.
Okay.
Okay.
He owns Instagram?
Say that one more time.
Mark Zuckerberg owns Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook bought Instagram a while back.
Okay, sorry. I'm only on Twitter, so.
Right. And Twitter, yeah, I struggle with Twitter. Like, I'm on there because writers love it. So I'm like, if writers love it, I'll be there. But I'm like, Twitter is it's like such a hard space. I don't like, my brain just kind of like, I don't understand. Like, what do I do with 135 characters? I don't understand.
140 now, I think.
So, what did I do with 140 characters? I have one hashtag. Anyway, we have 10 minutes before the official start, but I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I also sent an invite to Erica from Fabulous. She'll be joining. Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get better light over here.
Okay. For my errands, you look good.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Because it's my phone, it just looks dark to me. All right, that's okay.
All right. So we'll go around and do some intros now, and then we'll do it at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. So
how long are we go? I probably don't have more than like 20 minutes like left in me because I've been doing this all day. So like by 6:30, I need to probably dip out unless you have. Wait,
6:30 or 5:30?
Standard time.
Oh, you're not on Pacific Standard. Are you on? You're not on Pacific Standard.
No, an hour later.
Okay, So 5:30 my time. I was just
Well,
computing.
my life. I'm constantly dealing with time zones.
No, it's okay. Okay, so 5:30. Got it. Got it. Got it. We can do that. No problem. And thank you for hopping on. So yeah, let's pause. I know you must like whirlwind with the paperback launch. Um, we have Dr. Rebecca Hall, author of Wake, The Hidden History of Women-Led Revolts, with us here today. For those of you who've been following Sistah Scifi for a while, you remember the Wind Down Wednesday that we did with, I think we agreed to call you Dr. Rebecca, but let me know if you want me to call you Dr.
Call me
Rebecca Hall.
Dr. Hall or Rebecca.
Dr. Rebecca, Dr. Hall, last year. So we're excited to have you back. There are lots of updates with the books. There's a lot of updates in the world. So I'll pause there. Anything you want to add in terms of intros?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out this camera. Sorry. Like, we're gonna have it in such a way that, like, I was only seeing my forehead and like the bottom of your chin. Like something was really. Anyway. Yeah. So a couple of really exciting things happening this month. In 2 days is the 15th. Yes. This audio drama that's a companion piece to the book Wake is going to be released on Audible, and it's really exciting. Like, I spent several hours today on, it was the weirdest thing. I've never had to do something like this. So I was on Zoom, and the actor who's playing me in the audio drama, DeWanda Wise, is on Zoom, and like different press outlets are coming in and out. Like, one comes in, 10 minutes go by, and then they leave, and then another one comes in, and yeah, it was wild. And it's also wild to be played by when I met DeWanda on Zoom before production started, I said to her, like, first of all, I really want to thank you for playing me. And that's the weirdest sentence I've ever had to say. And she laughed. So anyway, that's coming. Another thing I'm really excited about.
I mean, like, that's it, but we gotta like digest it, right? Like, there's this whole audio drama. We have DeWanda Wise playing you. Yes, which we're super excited. Like, I can't wait to hear it. So for those of y'all who don't know who DeWanda Wise is, she was the lead and She's Gotta Have It. She was also in an episode of The Twilight Zone. It was the new Twilight Zone, one of my favorite episodes. And then also you have like this really amazing all-star cast. You have Shantae Adams. You have the Falake. Her Instagram handle is Falake. I can't remember all the letters of her last name because I'm not looking at it right now. You have, I think I read that parts of it is read by Bonnie Turpin, who's like one of my favorite narrators. So how did this happen? Like, was it like, were you like, I want this audio drama and this is who I want to play me? Or like, did Simon & Schuster, like, what? How did this happen?
I know, this was kind of crazy. But first of all, I can't let you go on without reminding people that DeWanda's starring in Jurassic Park.
Yes, and DeWanda's starring in Jurassic Park. Yes, thank you for that correct.
I ran out. I had like a break. I ran out, and it's the first time I went to a movie since the pandemic. And I'm in there like with my mask on, and yeah, it was really great. She was badass in that movie. Okay,
okay. We have this is my Instagram account. Some badassery to look forward to in Jurassic Park, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, but to answer your question, so when did this? I got approached by Podium Audio, which is the company that is like producing and creating and pulled all of this together. A company I'd never heard of, and which doesn't mean anything, right? And I was, and at the time, so the Wake was at the publisher, but it hadn't come out yet. So it was like another 6 months before it was out. I was in New York. I was a visiting scholar at the Schomburg for the 2020-2021 year. So I am in New York during the pandemic. It is crazy. I'm doing like research as fast as I can for my current book project. And then, so then my agent contacted me and they're like, oh, we've been approached by this audio company. And I was like, well, but we already said, like, you can't make an audio book from a graphic novel. And that's why Simon and Schuster hadn't reserved the audiobook rights, because there is no audiobook with, you know, with that. But that was the thing that got Podium, gave them a really unique opportunity, because they do audiobooks and, you know, things, but a lot of times, I think my understanding is they do it a lot by self-published authors, and as the publishers reserve all those rights to themselves. Like, so when I looked into Podium a little bit more, so they were the ones who took the self-published book, The Martian, and put it into, like, I think it was an audio book, and I don't know what, but anyway, it ended up becoming a movie. So we all know, right? So I was just like, yeah, whatever you think. And then I started working with Tyler English Beckwith, who is the playwright for this project, and I'd never worked with.
Brilliant. Like, I'm just like, wow, yes. But continue.
Hmm?
Continue. I didn't even cut you off.
Sure. Yeah. So I had never worked with a playwright before, and it was really cool. Like, you know, she would, like, we would meet and talk, and she would, like, write something, and then she'd send it back to me, and I'd, like, think about it, and then we'd meet, and then we'd edit, and it's like, no, let's restructure this. And this kind of went on back and forth for, like, over a year, you know? And that was all I thought about it. Like, I just didn't think about it much more than that. And then it's like, oh, and we're making offers to actors. I'm like, okay, cool. And then, you know, then they're like, oh yeah, we, you know, the people we wanted accepted. And, you know, I need to tell you about this new Tante Adams, this incredible young, you know, Black woman actor. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to learn about her and all this stuff. And then, like, I'm meeting DeWanda on Zoom for the first time. And it was like a great meeting. She has, like, the cutest dog, and then it went into production, and it was like, whoa, this is happening. And it's been kind of like that nonstop. Well, as Isis knows, that's what this whole year has been like for me. So I'm just along for the ride.
I love, one, there's so many great gems. So for those of y'all who don't know, Wake, this, and I'm still holding the hardcover because I love hardcovers. And fun fact, Sistah Scifi offers signed hardcovers by Dr. Rebecca Hall. Okay, so fun fact, Wake started, you know, there's research, and it was initially funded by a crowdfunding campaign, and then picked up by Simon and Schuster, right? So this all started from that self-publishing, the impetus of a creator, right?
Right. I mean, one of the things that's interesting about the audio drama is it's kind of a companion piece to the book, because it actually tells the story of how I went about turning my dissertation into a graphic narrative. And it talks about, like, you know, me trying to be a professor and a teacher and getting repeatedly fired for teaching race, and then just being kind of, like, really, you know, furious and upset that I've been pushed out of, like, what is my calling? It's my calling, you know? And then I was like, well, if I could just do one more thing, like, I would love to get all this work that I did. Because, you know, to get a PhD in history, it's one of the longest PhD programs. You know, and so, like, just the dissertation alone, you know, that was like 4 years full time. And that's what is in Wake, the graphic novel, is the result of that research. And so, you know, I had been fired, I was unemployed, you know, my wife is like, look, you just need to figure out what we're going to do, and you know, we'll figure it out together. And then, so I found this illustrator, and we created a Kickstarter campaign, and we were just going to raise a few $1,000s, like, I think $5,000 to, and it, like, overfunded within, like, a few days, you know. And then, you know, I got contacted by press, and then somebody was like, you need to get an agent. And I'm like, how do you get an agent? And then I got contacted by an agent. So it's just been, and then it went to a literary auction, which I didn't even know was a thing. So it didn't go straight to Simon & Schuster. It was like 7 different companies, like, bid on it, you know. And I picked Simon & Schuster because the editor I was going to be working with is a Black woman. And there was another reason. Oh, they had a really great publicity team. right? Which we can see. Yeah.
Which is all amazing. But fun fact, the fact that your contract with Simon and Schuster excluded the audio rights is what opened the door to this opportunity for the audio drama.
Right. And for
So
them, it was a real opportunity for them and for me, because I had no idea how any of this is done. I mean, I had to learn to create the graphic novel, learn to like tell story visually. And that was like a huge learning curve for me. Like, how does that even work? And now this is all about sound. It's just, I mean, we have a composer, Jace Clayton, or AKA DJ Rupture, like composed. We have, you know, this incredible, there were like 15 people. I think Bonnie Turpin, she acts different parts. So she's not just, you know, narrating it. It's really cool. I'm sorry, I keep rolling. I got this really new fancy chair, and it's on wheels, and my house is like old, so it's slanting. So I just keep, if you see me slide back.
I mean, thank you. I hadn't noticed. I was so fascinated by like all this development. I was like, you're moving. Okay. Okay. So that's the whole podium audio drama. So tell us, how is an audio drama different from an audio book? So I'm assuming they're not just reading.
Not at all.
No, yeah.
And I didn't really understand that either, because when they were like an audio drama, audio play, I was like, my thought was like, oh, like in the days before TV, you know, like War of the Worlds or whatever. But I'm sure we haven't had one of those since TV, you know. But wrong. It is like a whole thing, you know, like audiobooks are a whole thing and podcasts are a whole thing, none of which I ever do because I'm weird. No, it's like if there's a book, I need to read it. Otherwise, I won't remember anything in it. But this is really different. It's, imagine like a full-scale movie or play, but it's sound. It's all sound. Yeah, so it is not an audiobook at all. Yeah, and how does it relate to the original story? So it follows, it's kind of, it's a memoir, really. It follows my life from after I got the PhD and was trying to break into the world of teaching. And it follows sort of that journey, and that journey is interspersed with stories from the graphic novel where there's a full cast acting them. So the 1712 revolt, slave revolt, the revolt that happened in 1708 and in what's now Queens, revolts on slave ships. This is all acted, like with full cast. So yeah. Oh, when you listen to it, use headphones. It actually makes a difference.
Okay. I mean, I think I always listen. Well, most of the time I listen, but now I know to listen to this audio drama with headphones.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. It comes out in 2 days. I mean, does it a little bit hurt my heart that
can you put the link in here? It's available for pre-order.
Yes, I can put the link on here. Give me 2 seconds. Rebecca, how are you today?
Hi, Isis. Hi, Dr. Hall. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Can everybody hear me well? Am I okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. How's everything? I just wanted to
first,
just thank you. I wanted to jump in and I wanted to say, Dr. Hall, it's been such a pleasure following you on Twitter. You are always dropping gems on people. Like, you course correct any and everybody in community, out community, and I have learned so much by following you. It is such a pleasure. You're just like a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I'm glad. You know, I don't normally ask people how they find my Twitter because I'm waiting for them to tell me, like, I used to like you till I followed you. In addition to those things that Eric is saying, I also curse quite a lot and make random animal related things and whatever weird show I'm watching, which is that one right now. Save that night. That's what We have to do that too. The Black Lesbian Batwoman. Have you guys been watching this?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So, Jenica, like I was standing her because I love the whole vibe, but there were like a lot of critiques, not that I just have with that particular show, but with like the CW as a network when it comes to their Black characters. Like for some reason, you know, if they give us a Black character or two, they're not friends. Like they're like in the same neighborhood, but they don't really connect. They don't find community with each other. Like, and this is not realistic. It's just
But
not.
that's not what. Sorry, I'm all passionate about this. So no, this is not. But Batwoman's so different than that because Batwoman, you know, the character Ryan, you know, her main love interest is another Black lesbian. Like there's two Black on the show.
Yeah, finally. At first, it was like a white woman, and
yeah, you would never have known that was even possible. You know.
Yeah.
But it is. Yeah. And it's very abolitionist. It's quite a radical show. So of course they canceled it. But anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a very queer, you know, I love like queer women's content. Like I love sapphic content. So like to have like Rachel Maddow be like the podcast host and like there's these, you know, all these women, these queer women, you know, storylines is like really cool. And I feel like DC Comics has been like leaning more into that. Like the haunted Catwoman movie. I don't know if you saw that, Dr. Hall, on HBO Max. It's kind of like an anime, but it's kind of it's
no,
called...
Catwoman. I have been in love with Catwoman since like the early 70s watching like Eartha Kitt.
Oh, I love that's like my favorite Catwoman.
But yeah. So I've been so I have to see whatever this Catwoman thing is. Yeah.
It's called Catwoman Haunted.
Okay, I'm writing it down right now.
And you'll be watching it on HBO Max.
Yep, it's on HBO Max. It's like an hour-and-a-half movie, almost close to 2 hours, but it's so good. And I'm upset because it was under the radar, and it's like totally adult. They're like totally is like gay campy, and I love it. It's just fun. It's a fun time.
Thank you for the heads up. But before we get to this, I just want to I want to make sure I hit my two main agenda items, which I'm sure you would have brought on anyway, but I wanted to also let people know I have been working with this group of radical Black educators, the Ida B. Wells Education Project, for months, at least 6 months. And we have created a curriculum for WAKE. And it's on my website. Are you hearing weird buzzes?
Yeah, there's some feedback from you, Erica.
For me?
Yeah.
Do you hear now?
Nope.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
Yeah. And so it's designed for high school teachers in that it has like tie-ins to like each different core curriculum standards and stuff but it is, I think it's going to be really good or interesting for anybody, college students, people who are interested, who are, just, lifelong learners. I think it'd be really great. So it's on my website.
It's on the Ida B. Wells website.
They're putting it up. But yeah, they're a few days behind me, but they're going to put it up there too. But you can find it now on my website, which is rebhallphd.org. And then, if you look like WAKE is one of the menu items and you click on it and down at the bottom says lesson plans. So I'm really excited about that. And then the other last thing I want to make sure is the paperback. The paperback is coming June 21st. And here it is. And I got my box of them. But in the very back page, there is the QR code to the audio drama. And then the last thing I want to point out is, first of all, this copy, the paperback has page numbers. I can't even tell you how frustrating it was that they printed the hardback page without page numbers. It's like, it's like to try to teach a book without page numbers. And then also I wrote this sort of thing at the back. And I took like the 5 questions that people asked me the most when I interviewed, and you know, describe sort of in detail, like try to address more detail. I need to ask Simon and Schuster and put it on my website for people who already bought the hardcover and don't want to buy the paperback.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, but I already have a hardcover.
Or hit me up. Just hit me up and I'll send it to you.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Right.
And then, yeah, because if you send it to me, then I can also send it out to all the people who bought, if it's okay, the hardcover from Sistah Sci-Fi, right? Because they'll want those questions and answers too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I'll do that, and I'll not ask permission, just forgiveness later.
Now,
okay.
I can't recall in recent, you know, my recollection. I've never had an audio version of a graphic novel before.
Exactly, and it's not that, which is what we were talking about. It's an audio drama, audio play. So imagine like a full scale production, 15 actors, a composer, Foley editors, the whole. It's a play.
I have to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, it comes out in 2 days.
2 days, and you can it's on Audible. You can pre-order it. I don't know how to put a link to it, but
I'll find I dropped the link to the podium because there's pre-registration on Podium, so people can do that. So I put that. It's earlier in the chat. So, and then also when I post this, I'll make sure that that link is there. What my social media managers are doing now is they're taking clips of these Instagram lives and posting it. We're still working on their process. So when they do that, I'll make sure that they also post the audio channel somewhere. So yeah, so we'll get the word.
Okay, I'm still getting some buzzing.
Hold on. Let me I think it's from my light.
Okay.
Give me a second.
I can take you all on a tour of the cracks in my wall if you want to see how old this house is.
Yeah, I love all those talking points because usually the paperback is really just the paperback. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you and Simon and Schuster decide on the improvements?
Oh, the thing at the back, the essay at the back, the conversation with the author. I insisted on, supposed to keep asking, handful of questions. I mean, that's not the only questions I get asked, but there's this overlap, and it's like, I think a lot of people would be interested. So let me write this thing, and then the only issue became like, is there enough paper? Because that's a thing.
With the supply chain issues, yeah.
Well, there was the supply chain issues, which is why the hardcover went out of print for a bit. But it's also once they like have an order for a book, like there's something, they have like, they come in like 8-page segments or something. And so there needs to be enough like 8 pages available in the book. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and when the hardcover went out of print, I was like, oh, I guess they're gonna stop printing hardcovers, but that's temporary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know because I was. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think so. People are getting them, so they must have reprinted them.
I'll email you about. I'll email you about that.
Okay.
Because that's that. Yeah, I'll email you about that.
Yeah,
What else? Like, what are you doing a tour for the paperback? Are you doing a virtual launch? I mean, you're here, but what else are you doing for the launch of the paperback?
Oh no, I'm not. Except you. No, seriously, I'm not doing a tour for the paperback. Apparently that's not really a thing that I know of. I mean, maybe. So the focus is now kind of like making sure that the different states have access to the book in their, for in their school system, ways that they can order it. that is in the states where it's not illegal, you know, to teach race. But I think that's kind of more the focus. I don't know. Yeah.
No, no, and that makes perfect sense because I know when we talked the first time, it's like, so will there be material to make this teachable in schools? And now it's here. So I'm here for the progress.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about like just that in-school resources. Like that's amazing.
It's one of the things that's been kind of the most amazing thing in my experience since this book has come out is to see, well, first of all, how it's resonated with so many different people, you know, and but also particularly for me is to see these high school students be so into this book. I mean, I thought that was not at all the my idea, you know. And I mean, I was in New Orleans, and Tulane University had they bought 100 copies of the book, gave it the students in this Black book club from the high school, and I had did 2 events with them. But so they were like, I mean, there were tons of high school students, you know, and I would say something, and then there'd be like this applause, like, you know, I mean, like simultaneous, spontaneous applause, which is something that teenagers, right? They never do that because they're like, I'm not going to clap. Are you going to clap? Well, they're clapping. I don't know. You know what I mean? They're just so in their heads about it. And I was talking to one of the teachers who was helping me design the curriculum for Wake, like on my website, and she was there because she lives in New Orleans. And I'm, how come these students are engaged with this really nerdy historical research process? Like, I was not expecting that at all. And she's like, but these students, they know they're being lied to, you know, and they don't know how, and they don't know, but they know they're being lied to. And then they someone who looks like you know, with your skill set, chasing down the truth. And that's engaging them. And it was just sort of like, you know, jaw drop on the floor. Like I wasn't expecting that. And then, you know, and then the last event, one of the kids, I mean, I think he must have been in 9th grade. He was adorable, but he was like, so Dr. Hall, you know, so you wrote this graphic novel, and you know, it's kind of like a comic book, and like comic books, you know, are often a lot about superheroes. So who's the superhero in this book? And I thought for a minute, and then I was like, Black people. And he just
Yeah.
he was just so happy. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of work and, you know, trying to get this into curriculums and in different, school systems.
And I love that, like the superhero being not an individual but Black people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And taking that away from the very Western individualized hero, I'm acknowledging our powers as a community.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any questions?
Yes, I was going to say, Dr. Hall, have you received any letters or notifications that your book is on the ban list?
So I got a message about it being on a ban list in Texas, but I don't know actually how to even know, but I have to look it up. There's probably some like website that has it all, whatever, but I never verified that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a book being on a banned list is kind of like getting arrested in the 60s. It's like a badge of honor, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Right.
look, we're on the ban list. It's like, this
You
is
know
what I
what?
got.
It is a badge of honor, but I fear that the long run ramifications of it will hurt more Black and marginalized authors and creators, because it's like, cool, you know, I'm on the ban list now, and you know, now I'm, you know, people are buying the book because it's banned, but what does that say 2-3 years from now when agents and publishers don't want to take a chance on a creative project because of it being banned? And Dr. Hall, I would like to know your opinion. You know, with the whole book banning situation, a lot of curriculum textbooks come out of Texas. And I'm pretty sure you've drawn the line between Texas being in the forefront of like all of these, you know, extreme conservative, traditionalist, I guess, ideas, and also being like the home of school publishing books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And actually, in the audio drama, there's a whole part of it when I was like a high school teacher, and I taught, and there's, and when I was teaching high school, there was this incredibly like racist lesson plan on Reconstruction. And this, young white woman was teaching, the whole class was students of color, and she was teaching this garbage. And it was a whole thing, whatever, but you'll hear about it. But and this stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I think, Eric, you were asked, I mean, that was a lot of questions rolled up in one. And I mean, I'm not keeping track so much on the main textbook publishers. I mean, I know that I think I know which one, there's one or two that's really big,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the banned book thing, I'm still going back to ISIS, what you said, that now it's a badge of honor, like getting arrested in the 60s. I just got arrested 4 years ago. At a protest at an ICE facility, a detention facility. There was like a sit-in, and Utah came for my teaching license and took it because of that. Yeah.
Utah?
Well, that's where I live.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking to you from Salt Lake City. Yeah, and so yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in LA.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
In LA?
Huh?
Are you in LA?
I'm in Oakland.
Oakland, right.
I thought you were upstate New York.
That's so funny. Are you from upstate New York?
I'm from Chicago, but I'm in New Jersey now.
We just thought you were all over.
I travel a lot, and I'm going to actually be this whole next academic year. I got this really great, I'm so excited, visiting fellowship at Harvard for the academic year to finish writing my current book project. Another graphic novel about that looks at Civil War Reconstruction. Yeah. But
that is very exciting.
And the thing, I think, when you listen to the audio drama, I think one of the things that is going to become clear is that, all of this banning of books and, policing, fascist policing of curriculum to make sure, race isn't talked about, or sexual orientation or gender identity, that, none of this is, and, but what I think, this country has a bigger picture problem. Like, you can't just blame it on these conservatives. A bigger picture problem, about the refusal of history, that history has to be refused in this country, because it's what maintains this country's innocence, its sense of innocence, right? It's part of, like, I don't know if you've read James Baldwin before, or need to go back and revisit, but I've been doing a lot of reading of that because I was designing curriculum on James Baldwin for the state of New York, and I was doing that just as the Buffalo, this white supremacist killed the people in Buffalo, and it was hitting me that there was more people killed then than in the Charleston. Yeah, sorry, it's very upsetting. Where was I going with all this? Yeah, that there's this way that, the white, ethno state part of America, this sort of idea, it is one part, but also just even this sort of liberal understanding of, yeah, we did things that were maybe wrong in our past, but they were brief detours, and now we're moving forward. So anything that troubles that, it's like there's a violent refusal of it, and how that refusal happens varies, but it's a refusal nonetheless, right? And without actual repair, without reconciliation, without directly addressing this country's, the legacy of slavery, this country is like, it's poisoned. It's poisoning itself, and, it's not just us. It's, it'll destroy the whole country if we don't deal with this, also indigenous genocide and land theft as well.
Right. And I
Absolutely.
think another thing that caused it, like in Wake, is it's we're it's a Wake takes a very African American viewpoint, but it's a global. Like you travel to London, you look for the records there, and they're also obfuscated there as well. So this is like an international, if not global, issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think Indigenous people, um, you're calling attention to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think just to review, because Dr. Hall, you said that 5:30 is your cutoff, just in terms of your boundaries. We have 3 minutes.
I
So
do.
in that three
I,
minutes, if you're
I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say to the people watching, if you want to drop a question in the chat, now's your time, shoot your shot. But you got 3 minutes to ask the question and for it to be answered. While we wait for people to type in the questions, Erica, Dr. Hall, anything else you want to add?
Well, initially, you wanted to talk about Juneteenth, the holiday, right? Were we going to talk
Yes,
about that?
yes, Juneteenth, the intersection of Juneteenth, Pride, and Wake.
Okay, I don't know how to make all those things intersect, but I can get on my soapbox about Juneteenth. And yeah, anyone who follows me on Twitter knows I have a very strong opinion about it. So Juneteenth is this beautiful local Southern Texas Black holiday to celebrate a particular historical event, right? And that has been turned into this national day that's supposed to commemorate or celebrate the end of slavery. And it is infuriating to me. I just feel like, because first of all, ask anybody, like, what does this holiday celebrate? Right? What do they say? And they're going to say, well, it's when the Union Army came into Texas and told Black people they were free and everyone was freed. Now that was great. That's what we're celebrating. It's like, first of all, everybody wasn't free. Slavery didn't end in this country until, 6 months later with the passage of the 13th Amendment. In fact, there were enslaved people still in Delaware and all the Union slaveholding states, none of whom were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation, because the Emancipation Proclamation only applied to states that were then in rebellion, not the ones in the Union that were also slaveholding states, right? And then it all pivots on this very top-down, another one of those narratives of like, this white man has come and saved us people, when, and this is where I'm trying to get it to intersect with Wake, and it's definitely connected to my current project, but that's not how change happens. It's not like this, this president comes and does, change happens, because from the bottom up, because there's pressure on things to change. And the enslaved people in Texas, everyone knew about the Emancipation Proclamation. It was just far and wide, people were talking about the Emancipation Proclamation. The problem is that the people in Texas needed not the information, they needed the force to enforce it, right? And that's what the Union Army did. And, that's what's being celebrated. But all of this has been sort of distorted and becoming yet another example of like, pacification through this traditional history book history that's full of lies and distortions. And I don't even know what to do about it. I'm very frustrated. And I mean, normally it's like, well, I can have my own opinion, whatever. No, people don't need to, but people keep asking me about it. So it's like, okay, I will tell you,
Do you have a write-up of that? Because to me, a write-up of what you like.
What I just said?
Yeah.
No. Should I?
Yes.
I think it would be brilliant because, I also have a frustration with Juneteenth because people are like, oh, it's the day Black people got free. And I was like, oh my God, no. Like, there was like decades, if not centuries, of sharecropping. Like, the economic oppression of Black and Brown people still continue to this day. Like, it's not, but like, I don't have a good way to articulate that, particularly not based in history, right? But what you just said, I was like, oh man, I wish I could just say that every time I get frustrated when people like Juneteenth is the day that Black people got free.
Yes, you definitely,
right?
Dr. Hall, need like a worksheet to like a workbook to accompany your books, So like when we talk about it in the book club, we can actually like stay within the agenda of the book and not swerve too far off.
But I mean, I know you have a lot to do, so I can also like kind of go through the transcript of this and type it up. But if you have something, that'd be great. But if not, I'll go back to what you said and type it up because that was so brilliant and insightful. And then like let you look at it to make sure I didn't mess up anything.
But
yeah.
right, I should write something and maybe post it. And I'm not the only one who has this opinion. I mean, I've heard other people be very equally frustrated with it. But yeah.
Yeah, in my circles, I don't know any Black person who is like thrilled with Juneteenth being a holiday. Like,
Okay.
Juneteenth as a holiday or as a celebration has been just for me being a community of Black people, just, being around Black people and eating it, like, just having that tradition has never been like, this is our Independence Day and this is what, a festive in that way, I think. And I have been receiving, I think the most disturbing part for me has, because I am a journalist, I receive a bunch of pitches every day. And I've received Juneteenth pitches from marketers and publicists of people with products and brands that aren't even Black.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, did you get the Walmart ice cream? You can get your red velvet Juneteenth.
Yeah, this one person said to me, Juneteenth is about diversity, and I'm like, what?
No, it's not. No, man,
it's really bad.
It's about diverse flavors of ice cream. This is what I'm talking about. This is the pacification of history. It just, like up there with I have a dream or I have a cream or I have a bean, like it doesn't even matter anymore. It's just devoid of all content,
Yes, it is very frustrating.
Were there any questions?
So I would love to talk to you about Wake and Juneteenth and intersectional identity all night, but you did say I got 30 minutes. So I also want to do that. So a couple of closing notes. Wake. Sistah Scifi has hardcover signed by Dr. Rebecca Hall. Paperback is out in 2 days.
On the 21st.
On the 21st.
And
so you can pre-order that now. And the audio drama is out in 2 days.
Yes.
So pre-order that. The link is in this conversation. And if you are an educator, please go to Rebecca Hall's site. That link is also in the chat to get the curriculum to teach this beautiful, insightful book in your classrooms, not just on Juneteenth and not just in Black Pride Month, like Black History Month. You can teach it any time of the year. Fancy that.
That's right. Don't have to be in a classroom either.
And follow Dr. Hall on Twitter. That's where the content, the prime time content is.
The content. Okay, well, you have to give. I need to, at some point, you need to give me an example of some of the content that you came for that I delivered on. Was it when I called the Democratic Party feckless fucks in the face of fascism? Was it that one?
That's not the only one. I think it was somebody you actually called in regarding queer and trans rights. It was somebody, I think it was a Black person. I can't remember the person, but you basically told them to like kind of like, no, it was what's the author of the 1619 Project?
Oh,
yes, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
where she wanted to write an article about comparing
Black rights to gay rights, and you kind of like called her in to let her know that, hey, you need to reframe this talking point because Black queer people exist, and we can do both at the same time.
Yeah, I tried to stay really present and generous because a lot of people are just walking out, and we can't afford to sacrifice people. We need everybody, Yeah,
that's a gem right there. We can't afford to sacrifice people. We need as many people as possible.
Yeah, but the feckless fucks in the face of fascism, that got me put in a Twitter timeout.
Ooh,
that was a thing. And then I got back on, and then someone had a screenshot of my tweets, and they all said sensitive content, sensitive content. And they're like, Dr. Hall, what have you been up to? And I'm like, well, it's because I called the Democratic Party feckless fox in the face of facts. Anyway, I didn't get put out in timeout again. I guess they just weren't watching me in that moment. But all right, I gotta go because I'm gonna start saying all kinds of crazy things because I'm like gonna be half asleep.
Okay.
But thank you
All
for
right.
having me again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, stay in touch.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.